Okay, everyone, thanks to Electric Works, thanks to John, and thanks to Julian. It's nice to be here in Sheffield. I haven't been here for a few years. My name's Steve Moore. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Steve, the number 4 Moore. So if you want to give me instant feedback on what I'm saying, that's great. I'm just going to take a few minutes to set out a little bit more about the Big Society Network. But let me first of all say a little bit about the provenance, the network, and the provenance of the Big Society idea. I've been working with a group of people since February this year on some of the early developments of the Big Society as an idea. And I think this Big Society has kind of 3 forms at the moment. One, it is a kind of political idea that emerged as a sort of centrepiece of the Conservative Party manifesto, that moved across since then into the Coalition's Programme for Government, and it remains an idea which is, has got the great support of the Prime Minister and right across the Cabinet. It is a political idea that links a lot of disparate policies, from welfare reform to school reform to planning reform, so many of the sort of things that you've seen move forward over the course of the 9-10 week life of this coalition government. There's been a real desire from Prime Minister Dartmouth to move things forward very, very quickly in the course of the first 100 days of the administration. Secondly, I think it is a set of formal policy ideas. Not many, but some. Many starting off inside the Office for Civil Society, the newly formed Office for Civil Society. A number of ideas that are going to emerge gradually over the course of the next few months and early up until next year. The biggest one of all is the Big Society Bank, which is being developed by Lord Way. Again, like a big idea about how you can use unclaimed assets to invest in your communities and other big society initiatives. You're going to hear a lot more about that over the course of the next few months. Some of the money's already been invested in some of the Pathfinder areas for the Big Society. Might be able to hear something from our friends in Eden later on about that. But there'll be more developments being streamed from the Big Society Bank over the course of the autumn and early into next year as well. And the Big Society Bank will also be looking at ways in which it can leverage other funds, particularly from the other investment funds and so on. So there's some very big, ambitious ideas that are emerging from that. But there's lots of other ideas, like the National Citizen Service that was launched last week by David Cameron. The ideas around developing a day to celebrate social action across the country, community organising fund and so on. So those are like kind of formal policy ideas which are emerging, mainly from within the OCS, but again they'll have an impact across the country. You should keep an eye on what's happening in that, and I'm sure Julian will be keeping informed of those developments. The third area is this nascent development, which is called the Big Society Network, which is I'm here representing that network. And the network exists for a number of reasons. One is because we believe there's a lot of things that can be delivered to deliver on the ambitions of the Big Society, and some ideas that underpin it in a way that can be done outside government, can be best done by an organisation that sits outside government, that doesn't receive formal public funds. That's our starting position. We believe there's a lot of things we can do, particularly using the power and the convening power of network technologies. I can use the power of creative media, use the convening power of big brands. I can deliver all the things that people are looking for under the Big Society. The Big Society is an idea. We believe, all my experience in working in those sort of ways, I think there's a myriad range of examples of how those sort of things can be used. So we're very interested in how we can do a lot of innovation around the Big Society, which harnesses the best of new technologies, which makes it use of support from outside formal government. That's not just because we don't want to have institute government support, but we believe there is a blatant opportunity to work with those kind of organisations and so on in new ways. And basically my life has been almost wholly taken up in the course of the last 3 months by working with organisations like that, who basically organisations, corporations, foundations, individuals themselves, philanthropists and so on, who want to invest in this in new ways. So one of the things that we'll be doing is, one of the things we're mainly focusing on at the moment is developing a business plan for this organisation to raise funding. We've got a series of big fundraising events that have taken place over the course of the last few months. So we have some robustness, some independence from government, and some support from a whole wide range of organisations and individuals. So we're building a business plan, and we're putting together a board of trustees and so on. We've set the Big Society Network up as a company limited by guarantee. But the heart is the idea that I want to talk to you a little bit more about tonight, and we'll talk in a little bit more detail, because it's the idea that I'm really keen to get some feedback on. Because at the heart of what we're trying to do is to create a new type of organisation that we see will be a key legacy of the big society. Long after we've talked about the big society, we believe the service that we're trying to build will be the long-term legacy of the big society. And we call it at the moment Your Square Mile. And Your Square Mile really is a service, it's a service that we're setting up as a mutual, as an industrial property society that everyone can own. The government can't own it, only individuals can own it. So we run in the same way that any other cooperative mutual organisation operates. And what we're trying to look at is a way in which we can build a membership service that enables individuals across the country who are either currently involved in some form of civil society, whatever form that takes, or whether or not, to get involved and join that service. So we're building a membership proposition. So we're in discussions with insurance companies about creating discounted liability insurance with a company for any form of civic engagement. We're in discussions about how we can make it easier to get CRB checks done. We're looking at small things to make it really easier for people to do things. At the heart of the Your Square Mile is a rather simple idea, and that is that we should be able, we believe, there are tools and technologies that make it easier for people to come together in groups, in local areas to do good things. It's as simple as that. We believe the moment we just giving an example of my daily history, because all my life is I'm just inundated with people who are coming to service who are really doing this to some extent. So yesterday during the course of the afternoon, first of all I spent some time with somebody like Gary Fenton, who basically over the course of the last 3 years, since he moved to Hertfordshire, has developed a network of 8,000 street coordinators across Hertfordshire. He's built on links between existing neighbourhood watch groups, and he's basically kind of connected these groups up. And the services go way beyond anything I could have imagined was possible. He's done it wholly without fanfare. He basically hadn't heard of the big society until about 2 weeks ago. Off the back of it, he's been setting up a school in Nebworth, town that's never, a garden development, garden town development in the 1920s, it was only ever half built. And he planned to build the first school there, with broad support of the local community and so on. So Gary's built the service, I think it's called, it's based on, it's called OWL, O-W-L. But it's extraordinary development. When I actually dug into what he actually built online, it was remarkable. It was remarkable in terms of how much attraction he had, how people were using that service and so on. Far more than you did from some of the services, they get a lot more attention than the media. But remarkably quietly going about building that big society in Hertfordshire. And then we got to meet the people behind Mobilise, which is a new service being developed by Orange. And Orange will be developing a service, which will formally launch on the 18th of August. It enables you to use your Orange mobile to do anything in the spur of the time when you're waiting for the bus or waiting for a friend in the pub, you get 2 or 3 minutes to kill. It's easy for you to get money to charities, get involved in support other activities and so on. They're developing a whole range of different apps that enable people just to get around and do some good things when you got those few spare minutes. And then finally we met the team of people behind Street Clubs, which is a nascent development in Wandsworth in southwest London. And these are just 2 chaps who formerly worked in the city of London, who basically set up a group because they were living next to Springfield Hospital in Wandsworth, which is being demolished, and the plan was to build an 1800 flats and house development. And they came together, challenge us, question us, lobby against us. And then one day they formed this kind of group in their local area, and of 150, 200 people. And then someone pinged an email one day saying, I need to borrow a lawnmower. A lawnmower's broken, I need to borrow a lawnmower. And suddenly, these chaps realised what they were on to. This is a year ago, they decided to quit their jobs and build a street club in every part of this country. Every street should have the facilities that we have. They can see the difference that email group had in their street compared to all the streets in the local neighbourhood and so on. So it's all the potential of that. So those are just 3 small stories from yesterday afternoon. I know I'm going to hear a lot more tonight, at least I hope I am. But to give you just an example of the kind of way, what we're beginning to discover is happening out there at the moment, without any political intervention, without any politician championing this stuff. People just finding it easy to come together, find new ways, new delightful experiences, using the online tools, using mobile and so on to come together. So So really the heart of what we're trying to do is look at ways in which we can build services that can build on that, those new affordances and use the new possibilities of our age. And that's what the Big Society Network is really all about. And we're at a very, very early stage at the moment. One of the things that we're trying to do, given that we've only got a small amount of resources and most of it's volunteering, is get out to as many meetings like this as possible. So forgive us, it's taken us a few weeks to get up into the north of England, but we'll be back. We're planning to put together a tour around the country between September and Christmas. We're taking in 12 towns, cities and rural areas across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. We'll also make ourselves available to any other events that are being organised, events, self-organised events like this and others. We're doing another one tomorrow with Unlimited in the Social Enterprise Funder in London. So we're doing more and more of these events. So we're really willing to come up in small communities, large groups, whatever it is, to engage and so on. And the way I see that process working, I think it's important to get this message across, is that what we don't want to do is come to those events and have lots of long reports being published, which aggregate up everyone's thoughts and comments and reflect on the debates that took place. We're just there looking for new ideas. So it reflects a little bit what Julian was saying in his opening remarks. We really do want to just get on and do some stuff. Not deliberate about it, not ponder it too much, not prevaricate too much, won't agonise about the work on it, just try it out and see if it works. And if it really works, we'll back it and scale it. And if it doesn't, we'll let it go. We have to accept there'll be a lot of failure in that process and so on, but that's kind of how we want to start. So one of the things we're doing after the first meeting we had in London a few weeks ago is supporting David Wilcox here, who's at the front. And David developed an idea that night when we were in the Big Society App Store, a place where we can aggregate and contain great ideas, connections, tools, resources that were readily available to support people to do good things in their local community. And rather than have a long reflection of that and period, we can look in ways in which we can get that funded, set up as a social enterprise in its own right, get some funding from other sources and so on. So that in a way is just the kind of way we want to work. We see ideas when we go out to these events, we get exposed to great ideas tonight. We want to be able to work. Our job will be to go back and get support from them. Because we're inundated with big foundations, big brands, with individuals, philanthropists and so on, who want to support this idea. So that's a kind of, in a sense, a message to all of you tonight. You've got ideas that are beginning to develop and support them. And more widely, as the service develops, as your Squat Mile service develops, our vision is really clear for what we want to do. What we want to be able to do is, so every day people call me up and say, you're going to do something around ex-offenders, you're going to do something around digital inclusion, you're going to do something around mental health, you're going to do something around truancy in schools or whatever. And all the time I say, no, we're not going to do any of this kind of stuff. We want to see what happens when people come together on the platform that we're about to develop. And we want to support the people with great ideas, people cluster around great ideas, so we want to support those ideas. What we don't want to do is to start dictating to people and prescribe what we think is important. Because that will immediately compromise what we're trying to do with this service. This service will only work if we allow people to come together around that and to watch what happens when they do come together. And watch around the ideas that they cluster around, the issues that they want to campaign on, the things that they want to do and so on. Our capacity at the heart and the centre will be able to be responding to those ideas as they emerge in the improbable way that we might like to do. So we don't want to spend, if we have a budget for developing this platform, we want to hold back probably 90% of it in the short term so we can respond to how people use the service, we can analyse how people interact with it, we can see how services are developing, and we can use the goodwill that surrounds this network at the moment for big organisations and so on to be able to go back and support some of those ideas as they emerge. So we have got no big campaign themes at the moment. We do not intend to have big campaign themes. We do not intend to support government initiatives and so on. We want to see what happens when people come together and look at this. So that's really what tonight's start that conversation in the north of England. It's great to be here. Sorry for so little time. Only got an hour and a half and so on, but I'm tall and you can't miss me in a room as small as this. So come find me and pitch me any ideas you've got. I want to leave the place tonight with some really good ideas that we can follow up with and support and so on, and leave as a kind of legacy of this first meeting in the north of England. So I've got nothing more to say at this stage. Am I going to take questions now, John, or am I just going to be? You're going to allow me to?
I think you need to leave on pretty rapidly.